What's up, everybody? I'm Ethan. Fight me on this.
I'm Jill at CoachJill.April.
Do all y'all have your favorite claw clips? Because Coach Jill's having herself a time with them with her soft as fuck hair. If you could make recommendations for claw clips before she shaves her head, I don't care if she shaves her hair off. Actually, it doesn't really bother me. But I'm just saying before she has a conniption. But please.
I took my extensions out and my claw clips used to have something to grip onto, and I understand it's a silly thing to complain about soft hair, and that's not what I'm complaining about. I'm complaining about the fact that my claw clips don't stay put ever, and it is driving me actually insane.
And with that, we're going to start Hards and Joys. Because it's apparently hard everywhere today. My hard just so happens that today is the birth of abuser number 2. And I don't know why I haven't said that out loud before. I think that's the first time I've actually called that human, my mom, Darlene, an abuser. I have to take that one up with Jay. Yeah, and I shot a video, and I obviously will edit it and put it out as I do. But this is the second or third time in a row now that this day has almost fucking made it by me, and I've been sitting with it for a few years as to why that keeps happening, and it's because I don't consider her a person. Outside of like object permanence, that's like a big thing with TISM. But if you make me have to choose between my sanity and your harm, I'm gonna pick my sanity by deleting your existence. And the times that I struggle the most are when I'm reminded that they fucking exist. Both of them. It's a different heart. My heart is that my heart is what it always is. You're supposed to protect kids. You're supposed to protect your children. That's like the only job you have as a parent. And that's just not my experience. Through and through, over and over, that motherfucker, Darlene used me as a scapegoat to save her marriage. I'm not entirely sure how else to see it because she knew. And then denied knowing. Who has lived experience as a childhood trauma survivor, told me that many times. Told me so many times in my face that I'm so much like her when she was a little girl. And you were in the bed when you said, "Why is Ethan in this bed with us?" And then your husband took me back to my room and then disappeared. Repeatedly. Did it not register when he stopped fucking you? So that's why today's hard. That's why this week's been hard. That's why I don't sleep. There's no rest in the back of my brain. There's pieces of me that want to solve those questions. There's pieces of me that want to end those questions. There's pieces of me that just want it to be gone. There's pieces of me that know that that's not fucking possible. It's juggling. It's a lot of juggling. It's a lot of juggling constantly. It's a lot. It's so much. It is so fucking much. I don't give honor to that enough. It is so fucking much. And that's my heart.
I think my heart is I just don't really feel good a lot of the time. Yeah, I think my heart is that, like, in general, I don't really feel that good a lot of the time. Like, if it's not headache, it's that my stomach hurts. If it's not that my stomach hurts, it's that I'm bleeding. If it's not that I'm bleeding, it's that, uh, if you didn't know, I have pulsatile tinnitus, so I hear my pulse in my ear 24/7. Uh, it's been that way for years, like probably 5 years now.
Longer.
And it doesn't bug me because it's just there, but sometimes it's really there, like right now. And the only way to make it stop is to like cut off the artery behind my jaw. Uh, and once every few months, it just like it really upsets me that it's a thing that I still have to deal with. And apparently, currently, is one of those moments.
Yeah. I think and know chronic pain sufferers understand um, the annoyance with having to deal. Because it is just another day every day until it's not. And then it's the most fucking annoying thing in the world, as it is allowed to be. I hear voices, Jill hears her heartbeat. It's weird in this house. Into our joys, as it can be hard to pivot sometimes. But one that I'm not necessarily taking from Jill, but I get to hold in my own being, in my own way. Is my kid is reaching out to Jill more, not like by text or anything, but just by when she's here, she goes to Jill for with her questions. She goes to Jill with her autism, and it's not like been a long time coming. Like she's been very comfortable around Jill because she met Jill before. But Jill and I have talked a lot about the time that Amara will start to lean on her as a human, as a girl, as a woman, as a person she can feel safe and trust that looks like her, that isn't daddy. And yeah, this weekend was really cool. She openly asked for some girl time, and that, I mean, not like Jill's not a girly girl, but to hear my kid ask for girl time just like filled my soul. And that she want like my kid wants to be around me so much. If I'm doing something, it's daddy time. But like she was like, "No, I'm good. You stay here. Peace. Do your thing." And then I got to hear the stories of how autistic my kid is with the way she asks questions, which is equally funny to me. So that's my joy is that my kid is starting to find more safety and comfortability with Jill in the ways that she should and gets to choose for herself. And that's fun to see that grow and blossom the way that it is.
Yeah, I think Ethan's kid is cool because I don't do kids. And she knows that. She's heard it 1,000 times. Um, but when she is a kid, I can exist around her all the time. I don't have a lot of patience for kids now because there's like, and I say this in general, if you're personally offended by it, talk to your therapist about it. I don't have a lot of patience because kids have no rules and no structure, and like everybody is a gentle parent, and then your kid's screaming and crying and laying on the floor in public, and I have to deal with it. Or everybody's kid has their face in a screen. So I don't have a lot of patience for kids in general because that wasn't me. Uh, and I don't know what to do with that. Like, even Ethan's kid was playing a game with both of us a couple weeks ago, but then I discovered if she couldn't figure it out, she was just quitting. And I was like, right, I'm not playing with you anymore then. But Ethan's kid can take that and will stop quitting. Because she'll be like, oh, if I want Miss Jill to hang out with me, I can't do that. And she's like, for a 9-year-old, very receptive of like, that's a lame thing to do, and I'm not hanging out with you if you're going to do lame things. So it's fun to find the things that like we can do together with like a mutual understanding of like, don't do lame things.
I'm only here to keep you alive.
Don't make me responsible. She challenged me on walking out onto a lake when we were out for a walk. She was like, "Hey, Miss Jill, do you think that ice is frozen enough to walk on?" And I said, "No, it's been like 10 degrees for like 2 weeks." And she goes, "Well, why is there footprints on it? That looks like other people walked on it." And I said, "That's cool." And she goes, "Well, can't we just find out?" No, because then I'm gonna have to walk home and be like, "Yeah, your kid's in the lake."
And I would feel no way about it. Yeah, that sounds like her. She learned a tough lesson, didn't she? Yeah, I bet you warned her. Because Miss Jill's only here to keep you alive, and if you make a decision that makes that hard, you get to deal with those consequences on your own. And those would have been it. Which, when I heard that story, I also had a good chuckle. It was like, don't test Miss Jill. She will just let you fall through the ice. She's not pulling you out. Nola will pull you out. And then she'll walk. Don't touch her, but she'll walk you home.
Nola would be so mad. Just here, I've returned your small human.
Oh, Nola would be friends off with Amara for a week. And get in that fucking water.
I don't even like the water.
Nola would have just stood on the edge of the ice and just like tried to pick her out of it. She was like, "Fuck that."
But yeah, it is piggybacking off of that, like fun to find activities we can do together. Kids are funny. She's like, "Can we have girl time and go to the grocery store?" And I was like, "Sure." She was like, "But Daddy's not allowed to come." And I was like, "Well, you have to ask him if he wants to come, because tell me you're poly without telling me." I'm like, "No, everybody has to be included unless they don't want to be included. Then they don't have to come."
But then Amara, it was cool in that moment because Amara asked me a question without asking it in its entirety.
She did herself dirty. I'm like, well, you set yourself up for failure with that one.
And like, it wasn't even that it was like she got it wrong. She didn't get it all the way right. She asked if I wanted to go to the grocery store. And I was like, hold on. Are you asking because you want me to go with you, or are you asking because you want to know if I want to go?
Well, and the thing she always forgets is, like, Ethan will say yes if to most things his kid asks him to do. So I'm like, no, you have to ask your dad if he wants to come. If he doesn't want to come, then like we can go alone. If he does want to come, we'll find something else to do. And she walks in the house. She's like, "Daddy, do you want to come to the grocery store?" And I'm standing there being like,
but Jill won't interfere.
And Ethan goes, "Yeah, we can come to the grocery store." And then I can feel her disappointment. So then I decided to interject, and because I knew Ethan wasn't feeling good. And I was like, "But if you're not feeling good, you don't have to come. Like, Amara and I can go alone."
And I heard that. And I went, You hear what just happened? Miss Jill gave me an option. You hear how you asked, and because you are who you are to Daddy, I'm going to jump on time with you and doing things with you. But you're always safe to give Daddy the option to stay his black ass home.
But I also think it's cool to, like, teach in those moments of, like, no, if you have to give people, unless you don't want to give them the out. But, like, you didn't give your dad the out. Now you're disappointed that he didn't go, "No, I'm not coming to the grocery store."
And it is that last part that I think I enjoy the most is she's also logging the information and not just going, "Yeah, okay, cool," and on to the next thing. She's like, "Oh," and then flips it to what it should have been the first time, could have been the first time. And then they were gone for a bit.
Oh my god, it took so long.
For a bit. I didn't expect that.
How do you guys get anything done with a kid?
But, like, it's worse than a dog, and dogs suck. Because dogs don't come into the store and cause problems.
Like, it was fine because I wasn't in a rush, and I don't actually mind grocery shopping, but, like, how do you guys get anything done with a child in tow all the time?
You don't let them, you see the pace I walk at, and you don't let them stop anywhere.
I mean, in her defense, I couldn't find the noodles for, like, a really long time, so that took up most of our time at the grocery store, but it was also just like, "What's this? What's that? Have you had this? Do you like this? Do you like that?" And I was like, you guys field these questions all the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Joys. Don't have kids, but you'll enjoy.
Maybe borrow a cool
Borrow
one
one.
sometimes.
Yeah, Jill borrows one. This week we don't have a topic. We just here to chill. There wasn't even really a question in what you asked me earlier.
No, it was more of like, I guess, a curiosity of last episode we talked about like the different types of polyamory, kitchen table,
Garden.
whatever. Go back. I'm not listing them all
Our
again.
brains aren't functioning at full capacity.
You heard them. It was more of a statement of like, do I find, as individuals, not everything has to be we, find parallel polyamory helpful? And I think you answer first because I think we have different thoughts and feelings on it.
I think that I know that the way that you and I in particular juggle polyamory is kind of ever fluxing and flowing. We obviously have a yearning to be in, though we yearn for a kitchen table version of polyamory. I know there to be lots of parallel polyamory as we navigate spaces, especially I think that most new connections start in parallel polyamory for us. Is how I will start this response.
Yeah, I think we struggle with like specific labels, or at least I do, because I like interact with most people that come in this house, but that doesn't mean I want to hang out with them. And that's been something that like my therapist was this past week. I very much told her that I was just like, there's a human in our house. I was like, cool, bye. And went and did my own thing. And that's not like with any ill intent. It was just like, I'm here, you're here to see my partner. Goodbye. And I hung out in the basement for like, I was down here for hours.
Most of the time.
But I didn't feel weird about it. And sometimes I feel weird about it because I'm like, well, they're in my house. Should I hang out with them? And I think, honestly, that's more of a like traditional thinking / monogamy thinking. Like, I think back to like when we would have people over as kids and I like wasn't allowed in my room and I had to like make conversation with people. But like,
that's kind of a cool point.
But I don't want to make conversation with everyone. And that's not because I don't
want to hug that auntie with the beard.
And it's not because I don't like them. It's just like, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I used to feel really bad for a long time about being like, was that weird that I didn't talk to them? Was that weird that I didn't hang out with them? And Ethan never put that in my head. It was just in my head. But I told my therapist that like, yeah, there's a human here. And I was like, right. Goodbye. Enjoy my partner. And she was like, how cool that you were just able to be like, see ya. And go downstairs and not, I didn't feel stuck down here. I was just like very content in my little cocoon on my couch watching Bridgerton. And in my head, that's like as close to parallel as we get, but by definition, it's not, because like parallel is like we don't, like they probably wouldn't be in our house at the same time.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like it's, and that, yeah, I think without stepping on you, baby, I think it just muddies or blurs the lines. But it doesn't like muddies the waters, blurs the lines, whatever fucking analogy you want to use.
But my brain is like, it's still parallel because I didn't hang out with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, but you and I separate this house like that in our everyday life. Like we talk about that all the time, how we can be in the same house and not see each other for 7 hours. It can be in passing, but we literally created our house to have this perception of boundary that allows us to kind of be like, yeah, I know this motherfucker's still in this house, but I'm in my own world over here, and like it's easy to, I think, continue to navigate that as being parallel for us because we aren't in the same space. This is a different space than that main floor, than the office or the bedroom upstairs or.
And like we have had to set boundaries in the past, but those people don't usually stick around super long. Of like, I don't want to be here when they're here, or you need to hang out not in our house or whatever. And those people are like very few and far between.
Or abusing the access to our space, which is like overstaying their welcome, and that's very rare. But it's like, is this? They asked to come for lunch, and it's 11:30 at night. and nobody's talked about sleeping. And
yeah, I
without being
really
rude, there's moments where I'm like, what are you still doing here? Without being, I don't know how to ask that without being rude.
I get like stuck in my head in those moments too, because we've had people in the past that like the first time they're at our house it's like 12 plus hours, and I've had to undo a lot of that, because just because I would never do that doesn't mean it's wrong. But at the same time, I'm like, could you get out of my house, please? And especially if it's somebody that I wouldn't like hang out with, then it just like I feel a little bit stuck in my own house of being like,
I was gonna say that's the moment it feels sticky. Even for me as a person that's hosting, it's like because I can feel that Jill's like, are they staying, going? Because like it is always open. That is like it's still our thing. But we've usually talked about. Usually the person's like, hey, is it possible for me to stay? I'm like, yeah. Like if you feel comfortable in staying, you're welcome to hear the options. Versus like what we're talking about here, like all of a sudden we're done a trilogy because we both have autism and we had a great time. But Jill's now like it's bedtime for me, and if you're going to be up with this person, or are they going, or here's another there's no plan, and we both don't do really well. I do better, but we don't do really well when there's no plan. And resetting our space, whether this person's here or not, it requires that communication. And so that, like, that one I also own to my part of it, is not just jumping on the, hey, we didn't actually talk about you staying, so if we could plan to make this the last episode or whatever, like that's on me. And growth and learning in still having command over the fact that I do love people, and I will, opposite Jill, err on the side of making sure those people are cool and tolerating some of that drawn out because I can, in order for them to want to come back. Versus Jill will be like, "How would you get the fuck out?" And we talk about this later.
See you next time. Bye.
Like literally, like I love you. Come back tomorrow, but get the fuck out now. And that's where we differ, and that's some of the and that I think that's always the uncomfortable that we navigate, is how we process those, whether they're emotional or social or different situations. Our processing centers make those ones uncomfortable for us as we navigate them real time.
Yeah, and like I even asked Ethan the other day if he ever is bothered by like how long people stay in our house, because sometimes I feel like the asshole being like, all right, time to go. But I also know that Ethan can feel the shift in me of like mostly that uncertainty of like nobody's made a decision, so now I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Uh, and I like love that people feel welcome in our house, and I want people to feel welcome in our house. Sometimes I just need somebody to make a decision before midnight, preferably. But sometimes I do feel like I'm like the Debbie Downer of like needing people to go. Uh, so it's just helpful for me to know sometimes that even Ethan's like, okay, let's do this again soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think most of the time, Jill and I just want connections to flow freely, to grow and foster how they need to, and we hold space for whatever those look like. Parallel kitchen table, in the garden, whatever. It's just connecting with people and holding space for what that looks like and feels like, and not everybody vibes and jives, but everybody can get along.
Yeah, I think it also comes from like Ethan's really good about not having expectations, and not that like I necessarily have expectations of other people, but I feel like people expect things from me when they're in my house, but like that's not fair for me to put that on them. So that's been a lot of my undoing, is like everybody can use their big girl, boy, they words and say, I want to hang out with just Ethan, I want to hang out with both of you, whatever. Um, it's just been hard for us in the past, and like there hasn't been a lot of trust of from other people of actually saying what they want, so then my brain tries to like figure it out for them.
Mm.
But then I just end up stressed out for no reason. So I'm trying to stop doing that. But yeah, I think to wrap it up, like I think it's hard in any space, but it's also hard in the poly space of like people put labels on everything, and I just don't think you need labels on everything. Like, I think you can exist how you feel is right for you and your people and your house and your vibe, and it doesn't need to like be perfectly one way or another for it to be right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I just got to match with somebody on a lifestyle site because I simply said, my human is a matcha hoe and would love to meet another matcha hoe as a friend. Even if you take me out of this, I think you matcha hoes should meet. And I got 7 messages since we sat down here about matchas. I'm not going to read any of them, but literally connecting over something that's green. Pretty much that simple. I love you guys. I'm Ethan. Fight me on this.
I'm Jill. I could shield out April, and we'll catch you guys next time.